All right, good evening, everybody. This is the Community Solidarity Response Network. This is our weekly podcast and our video minutes where we talk about some of the things that we've done last week. We talked about raising the flag and some other things that we were working on last week. The things that's happening now, which is lifting up our brothers and sisters that's actually getting it in our community and making it a safe and decent place to live, and some of the things that we got coming up. I'm Brother Washington Muhammad. I use the pronouns he and him. I'm one of the co-founders of CSRN, along with Mike Leonardi and Jabril Bey. And if you know Jabril, hey, that's your own fault. But they came up with this idea that you can advocate for our community, and you don't necessarily have to be a politician, professional, or preacher or pastor in order to speak truth to power and make a difference. So, man, it was just miraculous of all the people that were involved in creating this space where just ordinary people can be taken serious. Today, what do I have on? I've got on my black hat. I've got on my Nation of Islam polo today. And I've got a flag right here. It's a red flag with a star in the crescent that represents freedom, justice, and equality. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit later about some of the things that we're doing in the Nation of Islam and how you can be involved in some of the stuff that's happening now. And this is the home of Black Lives Matter, Justice or Else. And as always, I'm dedicated to respecting and protecting and defending all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. And it's great to be here. I'm going to pass it over to Jody. If you can introduce yourself. You got some drums over there. All right. So we add some layers, some texture to what we're doing. So introduce yourself. What do you have on? And I think we got the mission statement coming up.
What's up, everybody? Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth. I am the treasurer of this wonderful organization, and basically just here to serve, absorb, and to give knowledge back as best as possible. For those of you listening in on our YouTube or our Spotify later on, or you just want to, I guess, listen to the sounds of us and absorb whatever information we might go and put out there while you sleep. I am a cinnamon tone, big brown bear of a man that is covered in tattoos, and I have crystals, stones, and bones around my neck from my travels as, I guess, being a guy that does a little bit of everything from poetry to film, movies, artwork, community service, and everything like that. My pronouns would be him, he, and we being the factor that I'm able to separate my personal emotions in life to make sure that the work is done in the visible eye to inspire somebody who probably hasn't had as much trauma as me to deal with. Other than that, we have our mission statement. And we have quite a few guests in the green room. So today, if you notice, we ain't joking as much. I ain't over there talking about people trying to steal Brother Washington's burners and stuff like that. We're just going to get straight to the point. So for those of you that do have an organization, an LLC, a nonprofit, or anything like that, this is 7 years for us, but we've only made it to 7 years because we have, I guess, boundaries and principles, and
we got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, that's right.
That we've kind of quilted together through our time as an organization.
Yeah, absolutely.
Learning from organizations who did it for longer than us, or even a lot of our guiding principles come from the movement for Black Lives,
right,
which was held in Cleveland on the campus. And that brought us to the aspect of this is real. This isn't just people yelling at Wall Street who probably make more than your average person anywhere.
That's right.
But so this is one of those ways how you continue your organization when you've decided to step off to do other things. In our mission statement, we are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer, of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, attacked, provoked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often police brutality goes without consequence or accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize the tactics of protest, civil disobedience, and event disruption and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive, community based events that help foster self development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc., etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally to all, yes, all, regardless of class, creed, or color. For all lives to matter, Black lives, yes, Black lives must matter. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
All right, and as you said, Jody, we just didn't come together and do whatever was, the first thing on our mind. It does take some order, it does take some discipline, and having a mission statement is important. Without a mission statement, someone will always try to steer you in another direction.
Yep, they got a better idea than
right,
you.
and that, and we've dealt with them. These are our guiding principles, which we did. All right, those are the meetings that a lot of people don't see is when we had to handle, business. So,
Okay, that's
all right.
incrimination.
Okay. All right. Don't get me started. It's Black History Month. All right. But we're going to be bringing Alexi on. So it's really key that I keep it moving. All right. These are our guiding principles, the CSRN guiding principles. All Black lives matter. Queer Black lives, trans Black lives, formerly and presently incarcerated Black lives, poor working class Black lives, differently abled Black lives, Black men and women lives, immigrant Black lives, Black elderly and children lives. All Black lives matter, and our creators of the space. We throw no one under the bus. We rise together. Ashe?
Ashe.
That means one who changes a thing or one who makes a thing happen. Thriving instead of surviving. Our vision is based on the world we want, not the one we're currently in. To transform, not simply react. We want our people to thrive, not just exist, think beyond the possible. Ashe?
Ashe.
Experimentation and innovation must be built into our work. Embrace the best tools, practices, and tactics, and leave those behind that no longer serve us. Ashe?
Ashe.
Evaluation and assessment must be built into our culture. Critical reflection must be a part of all of our work. We learn from our mistakes and our victories. Ashe?
Ashe.
Principal struggle can exist in a positive environment. We must be honest with one another by embracing direct, loving communication. Ashe?
Ashe.
Love, self-love is practiced in every element of all we do. Love and self-love must be a driver of our work and an indicator of our success. Without this principle and without healing, we will harm each other and undermine our movement. Ashe?
Ashe.
360-degree vision. We honor past struggles and wisdom from elders. The work we do today builds the foundations of movements of tomorrow. We consider our mark on future generations. Ashe?
Ashe.
Self-care means we build resilient spaces by budgeting time, energy, and resources for healing. Self-care is a regular, consistent, intentional, and essential practice. Ashe?
Ashe.
The most directly affected people are experts at their own lives and should be in leadership at the center of our movement and telling their stories directly. Ashe?
Ashe.
Training and leadership development should be fundamental. Our movement must constantly grow and leadership must constantly multiply. Ashe.
Ashe.
Hey, listen, Jody, we've got 3 minutes until Sister comes on. You know what? Instead of saying anything else, we're going to take a short break.
Sounds good.
Man, and when we come back, we're bringing up our sister, Alexia Sims. She was one of our Black Lives Matter
Yep.
awardees.
I was in that board meeting.
Right, right. You
Yeah.
know,
I'm
and
proud of all of our awardees, and even the nominees have done a lot of great stuff. But commercial break.
right. So stay tuned. This is the CSRN Video Minutes. We will be right back. Now let's wait for the tech move. The people in the tech room to get it right.
Hey, I'm Dr. P. Not only am I a leadership coach, I'm a change agent and I'm a race scholar. I've used my study of race to dismantle systems and organizations, but I also use that to help you as the individual become a better leader for your families and for your community.
And we are back.
All right, what you're watching right here is, man, this is our sister's business. I don't know if they had sound for this or not, but it's our sister's business, what she does with our young people. And it was just beautiful. I saw this online. It got a phone number on it. I saw it online. And I'm like, man, look, I got to share this. And I don't know how the tech team shared it without the sound, but we'll holler at them, a little bit later at another time.
So you can't be using stolen software.
Right. I guess, hey, you get what you get when you get it. So, hey, listen, let's bring our sister on with a round of applause. This is our sister, Alexia Sims. All right.
Yes, a lot of buttons
Oh,
now.
man. All right. Oh, man. That's what's up. Hey, how you doing, sister? How you feeling today?
How y'all doing? I'm good. Out here and about. Self-care.
That's right. We say that's an intentional and essential part of what we do. And without that, we burn out. And on your way burning out, you end up messing up some friendships.
Yeah.
All right. And hurt yourself in the process too. So we talked about you last week. It's Black History Month. And that doesn't mean that we talk about Sojourner Truth, Rosa Parks, and Harriet Tubman. We've got our freedom fighters that's living right now. All right. So we're lifting up our brothers and sisters, those who are making it happen. So for anybody that hasn't seen you before, shame on them. But who are you? All right. And why should people care about starting their own business?
Vợ chồng em về đó, chở Cúc về đi. Who am I? I am Alexia Sims, a member of the community. I am for the kids. That's what everybody say. If they don't say anything, they say, Lex love the kids if you don't know nothing else. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I just really want to see right now, my current mission is I want to see the Junction become a walkable community. If you don't know who I am and where I came from, I am Mary Williams of Miss Mary's House on Belmont. That is my mother. That is our family in-home daycare. We've been open since 2003, and I'm a kid who had a passion who just really wanted to provide childcare for kids. I knew at an early age that it would be educationally based childcare, and that's what we've been doing since '03. Someone who was blessed to find a partner in 2017 and expand and start to create my own brand. At the time, I partnered with my brother now, because once you've been through that weather together, that's my brother. He's no longer just my partner. Kenneth Johnson, and we opened up Three Hearts in 2017, and Three Hearts is inside of the Frederick Douglass Center. So it allowed me to serve the community that I had already been in since '99 in a larger way. Having centers housed in the Junction community, which we are in close proximity to a homeless shelter, allowed me to just pour love on kids that they were missing, being a part of what these families needed, and that was a village. They needed a network. Understanding, because my mom was a single mom. I had a present father up until 15 and a half when my father passed away, but after that it was just her. So understanding that families single moms need family. They need a team, and our goal always as a child care provider was to be a part of that village for them. Um, Now I stand as owner of Village Academy, and Village Academy is the region's first technology-based preschool center. So our goal there is to teach our kids about technology, but in a healthy manner. Um, in the last couple years, what COVID allowed me to do is to pay more attention to what was going on in my community. So I am on the water affordability task force that during COVID we met over Zoom probably about once a month, and we addressed the issue of the water rates that's going on in our community. We also discussed affordability. We had a survey done by a great man named Robert Roger Carlton, and he did a survey just to help us understand that the um, the condition of our water rates, our water center, and how that will affect our people. So during COVID, we were on a moratorium, and that just meant we couldn't get our water cut off. But we knew that when we came out of that moratorium, and with people going to month water rates, we needed to put things in place that would help them out so they wouldn't be back at the point of getting their water cut off. So in this water affordability task, there were members from the community, there were members from the city, there were members from places around us, even some of the Freshwater Future and other organizations who had helped with the issues that they had in Flint, just to help prevent us from going there. Um, as I explored that work, it allowed me to well, that was I would say the second layer of my work. I started off just starting to experience the junction with Alicia Smith and seeing that that's one beautiful black woman who is going to hold it down for her community, and seeing that made me say that I need to be able to help her out in whatever way I can. And helping her out was me becoming a part of the Junction Coalition's Human Resource and Development, where me and Gutter Dave sit co-chair, and we are really the faces that have events when it comes to events coming out of the Junction. Us together, just being out here, going to different events, supporting different people, we realized that the community needed information, and we kind of put together an organization called Community United. So, Community United is what plans the Junction Coalition, plans any free fundraisers. You see us housing at the Frederick Douglass Center, and that just because we couldn't keep being Lex and Dave who was having these events, so we had to put a name on it, and we both for the community and we united, so it was only right, Community United. um my community work allows me to see that the community needs me. I have to be there, have to be present, and an unbiased voice, because when we wrong, I'm definitely willing to say we're wrong, but when we right, and or when they have missed the target, and what I'm seeing a lot of is that they've missed the target. Great programs were put in place and they just didn't hit where they needed to go. So that's what made me become more focused in the community and involved in what was going on in the community. Now, me as a business owner, I want to try every business I can think of. When I say every business I can think of, if I think of it, I'm giving it a try. I'm doing my research, I'm getting educated, I'm
I've
giving
seen
it a
it.
try.
I've
Some
seen
of the
it.
things that I have given a try would be I have an outside venue called the Backyard, where you can rent backyard space to have your own grown and sexy event, or you can have your own kid party. There's a pool available and a lot of other amenities that can be added on to it. I said I want to do an inside venue, so I have an inside venue, and actually premiering my second inside venue with my brother. We partnered up and we have another venue that'll be premiering February 26th. And it's called The Space. So we've moved out of my daycare. Well, I still rent out Village Airport, but I also have the
Right.
space that'll be premiering. What number? No. I rent my car out on Toro. I um, did the research and realized that medical transportation, non-medical transportation was needed. So I have a contract with the county to provide non-medical transportation. Right now, I'm in the midst of creating a cargo company with a family member where we will be picking up some of that freight that's sitting in Chicago and not moving and getting it on the road. Just went through a webinar, a master class on how to do a podcast. I have a podcast studio, so I'm just always trying to fill my mind with multiple ways. Like my mom said, what's next? And I'm like, I don't know, but if it come to me, I'm gonna give it a try.
Now, okay, now you've said a lot of things. So if somebody's sitting out there
Oh, it's
thinking,
broken up. I can't hear you, brother Washington.
oh, it's coming back in.
How about now? Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay?
It's distorted.
It's distorted.
And it could be my connection, but I got 4 bars.
Yeah, I've
Hmm.
got 4 bars. Yeah, I've
Okay.
got 4 bars too. Man, that's unfortunate. Um, so just in case anybody is watching, looks like we've having some technical difficulties with Alexia, and we're going to try to get those addressed ASAP. Let's see if we're good now. Are we good now yet, Alexia?
I'm not sure. I can't hear the background.
Okay, I can't either. Um, let's see.
See, this is a fun podcast for
Yeah,
everybody out there watching.
absolutely.
And like she said, she's trying to get a podcast started and everything like that. This is probably what, our 150th show, something like that. We passed 100 a while ago,
Right.
but it's always a new technical difficulty, just kind of like with
Yeah.
life.
Well, check our live feed and see what's
Yep.
going on with that, and if
Live
we can
feed's
hear it,
about the same.
and if we can hear
Give
it.
us 2 blinks if you can hear us, 1 blink if you can't now.
Yeah.
So head nod if you can hear us, head no. You can hear us okay?
All right, turn our sound up. See if you can hear our sound on
Let's see.
there.
We have the magic device here called
All
the
right.
phone.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, somebody's trying to call me. Just a moment.
All right.
So let's
Try to
see.
get it going. You got sound?
I believe I have sound.
Want me to leave the studio and come back in?
No, we can hear you now. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. She's going to try and leave the studio and come back in.
All right. So I think that may have been on because you heard us
Yeah,
on
I
your
heard
phone.
her too just a moment ago.
Okay. All right.
But-
Let's make that happen. Hey, listen, this is the CSRN weekly podcast. Sometimes technology works, sometimes it doesn't. And I think that we're pretty much used to that.
It's like governments.
Hey, yeah, I guess so. You know what? And
although I think we got a better track record.
yeah, most definitely. Could you give a shout out? Who's in the chat?
Well, we got a lot of people.
Who do we see in the chat?
We got Rochelle in the chat room.
What's up, Rochelle?
You. Albert McCluster. I think that's how you say his name. He's in the chat room. He's loving the conversation.
Oh, Mac. Yeah.
Mac.
Want to hear a story about Mac?
Yep. Let me say hey to Jimmy.
Okay, say hey.
Say hey to Jimmy. If I don't say hey to Jimmy, it'll be bad days. So Jimmy, Joe Prayer, I know him. And a few more people. Georgia, she's back with us. She was so helpful on the one show.
Absolutely. She was our technical advisor, an unpaid technical advisor. All right, if I might add.
All righty. Oh, yeah. And I think a few of our viewers have caught on to the work in the community.
All right.
I caught that with the accent a couple times by the person that was helping out in the space she was at.
All right.
But again, every day is self-care. So
I see Sabrina.
Yep, Sabrina just chimed in. Yes, she did. See, made her get up out of her chair and everything. See, for I used to do hair and nails and all that stuff long time ago.
Okay,
But
I didn't know
so
that.
understanding the environment she was at for self-care after I heard the guy talking a couple times,
Oh, okay.
it might be a few minutes till she comes back. She was waiting
Oh,
on her number.
oh, okay. All right. And I thought without getting canceled, I thought that we heard. Yeah,
See,
I thought
see,
we heard that.
good husbands, boyfriends just drop off. We don't even go inside the building, so they don't get to see all that sound and noise and everything like that.
Before we take our break, because this is 6:28, we're going to take a short break at 6:30, and we're going to come back with, some of the happenings in our community. And I really wanted to just process quickly what I saw on um, on Saturday. It was maybe around on or about 2:30, 3 o'clock,
You're
driving
about to
by.
change the mood there.
Yeah, yeah, and if I don't say it now, it's a great chance that.
Well, from the salon to the barber shop.
Yeah, from the salon to the barbershop. All right, thank you. This is our segment from the salon to the barbershop. All right, you saw Alexia at the salon, and now let's transition to the barbershop. Listen, family, one of the things that I often hear in our community is this thing about don't snitch. All right. And I've been around long enough to know what that is. And there's three levels of that. There's the informant. That's the person that's paid to give information. There's the stool pigeon. That's the person that's going to give up your information regardless if you have a dollar or not. And then there's the snitch. That's when you and I both, Jody, are involved in some type of criminal enterprise. And if I get caught, I'm going to make sure I tell on you to reduce my time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's snitching. Now, family, now what we have to do is protect our community. And when we have an incident like we had on Saturday, when a baby girl is murdered.
You don't kill children.
Right, right. We got a baby girl that's dead now. And so many people are saying, well, I'm not going to tell. I'm not going to tell. If I know there's going to be justice.
This is why I'm glad I watched. I stopped. I mean, yes, I have social media and stuff, but I don't watch TV. All that. I get bits and pieces thanks to everybody's TikToks and memes. But yeah, if you literally say I'm not snitching on something like this, we had a case a few years ago, and I wrote a very scathing piece and some poems and some books about that. You don't kill children.
Right. And I see, I don't want to, I'm triggering Mac. All right. Because I think he understands a lot because he has his own.
I see now.
He has his own consulting company, and it might be a wise thing to have him on to talk about safety.
Yeah, I believe he just got awarded some position.
To talk about disaster preparedness and family. Our community, we punish the victims and we protect the perpetrators. And who are we to call for justice for this police officer? We call for justice from the politician, from the pastors. But what about the violent predators in our community?
That continue to keep doing it,
right?
And getting badges and earning stripes,
right? So before we get take a short break, I'm putting it out there that I'm for protecting our community, and I'm for seeking justice, and I'm for that baby girl getting justice. So to the family, our hearts and prayers go out to the family, but also for that family, there's some people that need to be held accountable. And most times, all of our families, we know, all right,
what's going on.
We know what's going on, and we know who. All right. So sometimes we could be our own worst enemy. People always say, well, why don't Black Lives Matter to you? Well, I'm telling you, we can be worst enemy.
We have been
right.
in so many ways.
Yeah.
Like the corporate part of anything is your own worst enemy.
Right. And unfortunately, we've been made that way by circumstance. We weren't
Yeah, we were
that
taught.
way. Right. We've been taught well how to be our own worst enemy. And that's one of the things that has to change. Jody, hey, listen, thank you for allowing me to do my little rant right now. We're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we got Sister Yvette Muhammad from the Nation of Islam that's going to be in the studio. We've got Cecil Holston that talks about, and his expertise is in mental health. So hang on with us. This is the CSRN Video Minutes, our podcast. We will be right back.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call Digital Edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
Back. All right. They caught me saying what I wasn't supposed to be saying. Hey, listen, we are back. This is the Community Solidarity Response Network, our weekly podcast where we talk about some of the things that's going on in our community. And I just recently had to talk about the loss of our baby girl on Saturday and how we really have to hold ourselves accountable. And most times you might see us downtown going against the police department or one government center. Yeah, that's my thing, and I could do that, but we could also bring it home too, regarding personal responsibility. You know what?
And accountability.
Right. Hey, listen, we got Alexia. I wanted to finish up, if it's okay with you, to finish up with.
We can see she may not have her number called yet. We had a good laugh.
Yeah, let's see if we can put her back in. Alexia, can you hear us?
We figured
out.
Yeah,
I don't know what was going on. I had to restart my phone. It was somebody hating.
Yep. And I think it was
his voice over the background.
And I think it was Jody. But
now we might have one of the translators in the green room, like, oh,
right.
That's what he said.
Right. You know what, Alexia? One of the last things. Thank you, Jody. Thank you very much. One of the last things that I wanted to ask you, because you named off the you're going to get into the logistics and expediting. You've got the Turo. You've got the backyard. You also have the inside banquet, space. We've got the children's academy, and there may be some other things rolling around, orbiting around in their mind right now. All right. So for someone that's like, girl, you're doing too much. How does a person even get, okay, what? Because I said, girl, you're doing too much.
That's why I let you be the talkative one.
All right. That was pretty good, though. All right. Hey, that was pretty good. All right. If someone just wanted to get started being their own boss, what is it? what's a person's first step? Because I know someone's going to say, well, you had her on, she doing all that stuff. Can't nobody do that. Well, listen, okay. Well, I'm going to ask her before the silly people ask me the question.
I would say that first step is going to be come to my event February 26th, CEO Talk, the Mentoring Experience, where we have several 6, 7 figure earners throughout the city of Toledo. You may not see them often because they are head in the paint, but they are also walking that same walk that you are walking, where they once had that 9 to 5 and had that dream to be an entrepreneur. And it's like, what was keeping me there? What was keeping you there was because they was paying you to forget your dream.
Man,
Was keeping you there.
I believe
So
we
when you
said
bet
that.
on yourself, the sky's unlimited. I bet on me. I know I'm
That's
gonna
right.
win. Even if I fail, I'm gonna win again because I know that I'm gonna take the time. You got to do the work. Now, it ain't going to be easy. It ain't going to be handed to you. Last night on my podcast, Lessons with Lexi, live on Many Faces Podcast Studio, 8 p.m. on Mondays, walked you through creating an EIN, LLC, along with a Duns and Bradstreet number. We have to learn how to do business the different way, which is their way. We are so used to grinding and getting it out the mud. My companies will now be using other people's money. We no longer have to get it out the mud. If we follow the steps that's in place, it can make it a lot easier for us. All you got to do is follow the steps that's in place. There is a group on Facebook. We're called Small Business Building Group. We're all building our businesses and we share information and it's totally free. And we're willing to walk you through. Now, don't get me wrong. You want some child care consultants? It's going to cost you.
that's right.
Week, you gotta
Teach.
pay me. You want it on Sunday, you gotta pay me. You want me to pull up to your space? But when I tell you this information that I'm gonna give you is invaluable because it's not in black and white anywhere. I'm gonna tell you the trials and tribulations when somebody called the fire department on me or when somebody called the health department on me, how you get to the other side of that. Don't let those little bumps in the road steer you off the path to greatness.
So, man, once again, you've got an event coming up, CEO Talk. When is it? And how can people find this information?
February 26th, you can actually find the event on Eventbrite, or you can actually look up the Space Facebook page. It is on there because it's the first event for the new space, which is at 5455 Airport. We're in the same plaza as Chuck E. Cheese on Airport. So plenty of parking for any event you want to have, and we can hold a little over almost 200 people in there.
Oh,
So
man.
definitely, February 26th is 12 to 4, and you can buy your ticket through Eventbrite. When I say we have people, so this is my first event me and my brother put on, knowing that right now people really need mentorship in business. Like to have somebody tell you the issues they ran into without you having to run into them are priceless.
Yep.
Putting on this event is what made putting this event together. That's what we had in mind. What I didn't have in mind as my first event is that people will be coming from across the state to come to our event.
Wow.
People are reaching out to me asking about lodging, and I'm like, I didn't even think
Yeah,
about this would reach to people in Dayton and Columbus who are looking to come and attend our event. So we're blessed, and we just once you realize that it's enough money for everybody,
that's
you
right.
don't mind sharing.
All right.
Yeah,
So what we need to do, we need to share this on our page.
it has been.
All
I'll
right.
reshare it.
And if anybody's watching this podcast that you follow us on Facebook and Instagram, grab that and share it for us. All right. Share it for us because one of the things that I realize about the movement, social justice, economics has always been the stepchild. All right. And I know this. So we utilize that social justice thing to bring in that economic thing since it's not celebrated the way that it should be. Thank you, Alexia. We are going to, man, we love you. We lift you up. This is Black History because my sister
Yeah.
got it in.
One
Yes,
more thing,
go
one more
ahead.
thing before I leave. Y'all see my shirt? It's a cute little saying with Harriet Tubman. Y'all want the cute little saying for y'all too? She make up.
Yes, ma'am.
She's a black woman. The name of her company is called Custom Rise. This is my Harriet Tubman saying. I got a new saying every Monday this month, and she can make up your own saying too. That helps us represent our historians, but in the nowadays way.
Yes, ma'am. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Alexia. We will see you soon, Black Lido, and everything else. You already know what it is. Thank you, sister. Hey,
All
listen,
right.
family, we are back. We're going to take a short break.
Well, first, let me
Oh,
appreciate
okay. All
all the
right.
people because today seems to be a very active show. I want to let all the new people know who we are and stuff like that. Those that just might be popping in. So, hello to Sherry Johnson. See, you just popped in a little while ago. So, hello to you again. Georgia is still with us. And who else we got still in there? Also, loving everybody's comments. So, yep, Georgia, Albert, and Idisha. She popped in. Anika is watching. Hey, Anika, Rochelle,
All right.
and of course, because I popped out of the one thing. So, you were just saying her name a moment ago.
Alexia?
Nope. Somebody else that was in the chat that used to come to all the meetings. She says she misses us very much, though.
Oh man, I did. Okay. Well, I don't know who this person. I don't know who this person was, but we are talking about. Man, we're getting really close to our break. We are talking about meeting soon. All right, and that is going to happen. That we
Meeting
have.
soon, and our event for our first fundraiser event for the year too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we got a lot of stuff that I wasn't even at the meeting to know what this is, but you can count me in, all right, for extra $500. But but man, family, we thank you for joining us. We're gonna take a short break, and when we come back, we've got Sister Yvette Muhammad from the Nation of Islam right in the studio. So hang tough, people. This is the CSRN Video Minutes, our weekly podcast. We'll be right back.
Did you know addiction is a disease, not a moral dilemma? The opioid epidemic and substance use have a major impact on communities of color and many people's lives. Wasion Wellness Recovery Support Center offers culturally relevant inpatient and outpatient behavioral health treatment and recovery support services to any Ohioan struggling with addiction, mental health, or finding sober-safe housing. We must recognize that treatment is available and accessible to all. If you are in need of treatment or want to find out more information, you can call 1-888-728-2713 to talk to someone or schedule an appointment.
Where we go?
We don't sleep when the sun goes down. We don't waste no precious time. All my friends in the loop, making up for teenage crime. Making up for teenage crime. We don't sleep when the sun goes down. We don't waste no precious time. All my friends in the loop, making up for teenage crime. Don't go away.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN Video Minutes, our weekly podcast, and we are back. We're back. We're back.
Let me show you how to create an amazing ad using
One
stock
second,
footage.
family.
Go to our
He likes his buttons.
Oh,
He's got all these new
absolutely,
buttons now.
absolutely. Let me check the sound. Do I got sound? Okay, I got sound. Hey, listen, family, we are back. We're back, and yeah, we listen. Real quick, shout out to Jesse Coleman. I think he produces the 419 Grind podcast and a lot of other things.
A few other things. Yeah.
We reached out to him to help us with some of the technology to make our podcast experience, to level up. So he shared all the gems. He shared all of them. So shout out to Jesse Coleman. Thank you, brother. Hey, listen, since we talk about brotherhood, we might as well talk about sisterhood. We have with us in the studio. Hey, team, can you bring our sister up? All right, we have our sister Yvette Muhammad, Nation of Islam, right here in Toledo. Assalamu alaikum, sister.
Wa alaikum salam, my brother.
All right, how you feeling today?
I feel awesome. Thank you. How you feeling?
Okay, all right, I'm feeling good. Watch out now.
Watch out.
Hey, listen, thank you for being on our podcast today. This is Black History Month, and you cannot have Black history without the Nation of Islam. What are we doing? All right. How does that even happen? We've got Savior's Day coming up in the Swan Song. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Minister Farrakhan's maybe his last address. That's February 27th. You can go on NOI.org and check that out. But we've got one of the members, active members. So for all of the people that are on this podcast right now viewing it, and we've got quite a few, who are you? And what is it with the Sisters in the Nation of Islam?
I love that question. It's real open-ended. My name is Sister Yvette Muhammad. I am an active and registered member of the Nation of Islam and have been for 30 years. I am very, very glad to be with you all today to talk to you about the women in the Nation of Islam and our 7 units of training. Most people know the Nation of Islam by the brothers. They see the brothers on the street corners, in the urban community across the United States. And really, what people don't know is that we are international. We are prominent in a number of countries, not just the United States. And we recognize you by your bow ties and your suits in the hot weather.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
And although the women are not on the street corners with the Final Call newspaper, we share in the mission of the Nation of Islam. And what people may not know is that our mission is the resurrection of the Black man and woman here in North America, given the circumstances by how we ended up in this country in the first place, and the continued condition that we find ourselves in, disproportionately represented in everything negative and under represented in things that are positive or that causes the country to thrive. It's representation, not our own value. But nonetheless, given those conditions, we are very active in the mission of the Nation of Islam and that resurrection work. We are known, the women, as the MGT. MGT stands for the Muslim Girls Training. The big name is the MGT and GCC, which is the Muslim Girls Training and General Civilization Class. And with that, we kind of just shorten it and we call ourselves the MGT. How's the MGT doing today? That's like, how's the sisters doing today? And with that, I mentioned about our training. The T stands for training. We are trained in 7 units of training that we desire to master over the course of time, understanding and digest it from the spiritual root. It is revealed that those 7 units of training lay the foundation for family and for righteous society. On a surface level, it could look like a home ec class, but we don't operate on the surface level. We're not surface dwellers. Let me go over those 7 units of training with you. they're very deep, and society has devalued those 7 units. And number one is how to keep house. And everybody, I'm not a good housekeeper. I can hire a house cleaner or someone to pick up. Well, in this day and age, we recognize that cleaning, sanitizing, and disinfecting could be a matter of life and death. So this is no light work. I take responsibility for my own family, even if I have help. But we're not talking just about cleaning up the house. No more than, you don't recognize your house is like the womb for your family to develop. And that is something that deserves care. The womb or the home where your family's home base operates from should be warm, give way for creativity, and really is the environment where life, God life, can grow. So when we talk about how to keep house, yeah, it needs to be tidied up and orderly. But we're talking about the warmth. We're talking about the spirit that dwells within the home. Number two, how to rear our children. There's an array of parenting classes, and I would say in general, those speak to don't hurt the baby, and feed the baby, don't leave the baby alone, and of course give the baby attention. But we're talking about how to grow and give birth to a God, little G, but God, that spirit of God that dwells in every child, and it is untampered with at the time the child is born. But this world puts pressure against the development of that God in the child. So we try to master this aspect of growing the God in a human being that God has allowed me to create, given the context of the world that we live in, how to grow that God in the child. So when we're talking about parenting, we're talking about something much deeper. Number three, how to take care of our husbands. There's no easy task. As women, we, along with the Creator Himself, helped to create the universe. We helped Him to create the universe. Everything in the universe, the woman helped to create. Now, we're talking about the divine marriage between a man and a woman. We're not talking about just, going together, roommate type of stuff. We're talking about that piece, which is the cornerstone to a righteous society. It's no easy task. It's no easy task to be ill affected, because we're ill affected by the environmental factors. So we are affected individually, and then when we come together as a couple, we can ill affect each other. But the rest of it requires us to tap into the God within ourselves to bring out the God out of our brother, who is our husband, who ends up partnering to grow the family. Number four, how to sow. Of course, biblically speaking, if you read the Bible, there's a discussion about the virtuous woman who spins her yarn and things of that nature. But sewing, yes, indeed, sewing is practical. We're talking about just using fabrics and things like that to sew, and physically speaking, that's important when for us the principle of modesty is of the highest value. Not because we're conservative and we don't like our bodies, but because we want to be valued for more than our bodies and what our bodies can do to satisfy someone else. With that part of it, and I say part of it because you can be a hot mess with a long garment on, but part of it is to represent ourselves in modesty in the way that we're dressed. And that cannot be something that we depend on Michael Kors or Tommy Hilfiger or someone who does not value modesty, does not value the Black woman in her role that has been stolen from her. We can't depend on them to offer that. So we learn to dress ourselves. We learn to dress our children. We learn to repair, to extend the life of the clothing items that we have before us, how to create our own aprons and things of that nature. We're never short when you know how to do for yourself. Additionally, there's a lot of spiritual stuff that goes along with sewing. If you've ever sewn, it takes a lot of patience. You need the proper material. You can be dynamic in your ability, but don't have the proper material. If you don't have the proper materials in your life, you can have great ability, but it gets hard to manifest what you're trying to go forward with. You have to have the proper technique. You need to know the how and the when. You have to have the proper equipment. So it's not just the fabric or the machine or the what it's all of it together, but the person behind the machine has to have something too. They have to have patience. You don't just keep on sewing when you've had a knot. You go back and you fix that knot before you go on, so that you don't have a messed up garment where you just skipped over something that all it took was a little time to go back. And you may have heard the expression, a stitch in time saves nine, meaning that one stitch now handled can prevent us from having to deal with nine stitches that come loose later in life. So it's spiritual. Um, the next one is how to cook. A lot of people, think that cooking is a matter of managing recipes, and it is in part. But after a while, you want to become familiar with what it is that Allah has provided for us for nourishment and sustenance. And with that, we end up potentially being able to cure our ills, to stave off things like diabetes, high blood pressure, and those diet related illnesses, not to mention obesity, that make us high in the area of comorbidity for things like a virus that is circulating in the community. And it's very important. Somebody got to know. Who do we expect to know if it's not someone in the family? So these things that I'm mentioning do not exclude the potential for a brother to master them, but they are the units that we seek to master. We can be a healer or a killer in our own community, or we can turn over the whole aspect of cooking to rallies in McDonald's. And what would that get us? And what has that getting us? Because they're capitalistic. They're not about healing ourselves physically. And of course, what you feed yourself, not only physically, but it also feeds your physical brain. So it can help to impact you, in terms of the stability of your mood and things like that. You ever had a sugar rush or a sugar crash, foods or chemicals? Lastly, is two together, 6 and 7, which is how to act at home and abroad. In order for us to be a functional society, we do need to know how to conduct ourselves. We do need to know how to respect life. We do need to know how to communicate. We do need to know how to operate cooperatively. We do need to understand that people have needs besides ourselves. We need to know how to share. And these things are grown in our households, which is the how to act at home part, and they go abroad when we go abroad. So, with that, I don't want to go on, and I'm very thankful for the time that you've given me. But I do want to say that, you recognize the Nation of Islam very often by the men who have been before us, to name a few: the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, and of course the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. But what you might not know is about the names of some of the women. So I just want to drop them so your ear have heard them at some point in time in your life. Clara Muhammad, Mother Clara Muhammad. She was the wife of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Did you know that he had been imprisoned a couple times early on? One was for erecting home schools for the black children. The white man demanded that the black children be put in their schools. And as a Nation of Islam, we refused. So he was imprisoned for that. He was also imprisoned for having dodged the draft, where he was well over the 45-year-old age limit, but they still imprisoned him because that's what people do who don't operate under freedom, justice, and equality. And while he was imprisoned, his wife, Mother Clara Muhammad, operated the Nation of Islam on his behalf and maintained the school system. Another name I want to drop on you, Mother Khadija Muhammad, and she is the wife of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. She designed our Vanguard uniforms, and I love the little commercial that you put up because you showed the Vanguard sisters, which is the sisters who are ages 16 to 36. So I'm not in the Vanguard. I'm a couple of decades past Vanguard age, but nonetheless, I got Vanguard spirit. And you showed the sisters in their garments, their uniforms that kind of looked military-like. Mother Khadija, who is the wife of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, designed those uniforms, and they're still worn today. And last, someone who you may not know, but just Google these people because it's good to put that in your bank. So we don't only operate on the four people that we've been given permission to talk about, but sister, which is the best title, minister, which is a servitude with a title of service, and Dr. Ava Muhammad. And she is a spiritual advisor. She is an author of many books. And she was featured at one point in Essence magazine as one of the most powerful women in the nation. I mean, not the Nation of Islam, in the United States. And so, many who have been unspoken of, some of the ones I mentioned are not with us anymore, and some of them are. But of course, as we talk about history, what we're doing today will be tomorrow's history. So it's all history. We write our history and then we walk into it. So what we want, we live it today, so we can walk into that record that will be reflected upon tomorrow. So with that, when you hear about the Sisters in the Nation of Islam doing an outreach, which we do, we call them community outreach activities. We have done locally uh, outreaches in the area of how to cook, where we demonstrated how to cook some of the healthy foods that we are taught to eat. We've done canning, which is the preservation of foods. We've done disaster preparedness, is how to prepare your home, not for just today, but for tomorrow, and how to operate in the case of a disaster, how to grow your own food. I mean, these are essential things for civilized societies to know. We got to stop depending on somebody else to know. And if they don't know, we just out of luck. We try to develop our intelligence and our capacity and our skills so that we can operate. So hopefully, if you see, the sisters out in the community, you recognize our garment now. You saw some garments that were displayed on the ad that Brother Washington wore. When you hear about the activities, I hope you recognize us not just as sisters who believe something different than you believe, but who want what you want also. And, you recognize and develop an affinity toward us because we love and have an affinity to you.
Well, I wanted to ask you another question.
Mhm.
Before we started, we put up the flyer for Savior's Day. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan will be speaking live via webcast. For you, one of the sisters, um, what is this about, and why should people be aware of what's going to happen February 27th?
Okay, so swan song is a terminology that denotes like a final public speaking and or big, event that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan intends to teach at. He's taught us for many, many years. There really is nothing left to say. It really is more for us to do about what's been said. The training is available in the community. It's just not much more to say. So that's what the term swan song means. Savior's Day is a convention that we hold annually, and this is that celebration time. So that opportunity is where he's going to deliver his swan song message. We'll be broadcasting it live, as a fellowship gathering at 1698 Nebraska. It'll be 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday the 27th. But you can also tune in at your home on noi.org, which is our homepage for the Nation of Islam.
And last, are there regular meetings that the Nation of Islam meets here in Toledo? And if so, what are the times and what are the location? What's the location?
Thank you for asking that. And, I want to say, as I make this invitation to you, the Nation of Islam, we're not in the business of trying to convert you from this to that. We growing is a conversion, is growing from what you didn't know to what you do know. We hold meetings several times during the week. We do a reading circle now on Wednesdays at 7:30. And the book that we're reading is called How to Eat to Live. And if we are not convinced that we need to eat better, if you say you are what we eat, what are we eating based on how we are? Look at our physical conditions. What's going on with us? We have to learn how to eat properly. Maybe somebody else's diet is good for them, but it is not a diet for a God. Rallies is not a diet for God, and I don't mean to be on Rally's case, but this synthetic food is not a diet for a God. We have to feed our minds. We have to feed our bodies properly. Additionally, to that 7:30 meeting on Wednesday, we have a meeting on Friday at 7:30, and that study is called "The Self-Improvement is the Basis or the Foundation for Community Development." So we can't demand of someone else what we're not willing to do in terms of improvement for ourselves. Currently, we're working on a study guide and dissecting a study guide called "Who is God?" It's a beautiful thing when you recognize that self-improvement is an inside job. It ought to stop you from talking to anybody except for the mirror. And that is what that study session is intended for: self-examination, self-analysis, and ultimately self-correction. The Sunday meeting, which we hold every Sunday at 11 a.m., is an inspirational message, and it is an introduction into our teachings. It's been said that while we're participating in a religion that doesn't help us to improve our reality, we need to fix our minds. The mind being fixed precedes any activity being fixed around us. Anything, we can't just jump into something. You got to get your mind prepared for it first. And so it's an inspirational meeting. And of course, we have women classes and men's classes that, talk to any sister about the women's class and talk to any brothers about the brothers' class.
Well, once again, we thank you on behalf of Jody, Julian, Ruth, everybody at CSRN. We really thank you for being on the podcast. We thank everyone also that was in the chat, sending some
blowing up.
Sending some love your way. All right. Maybe we have her on more often. Maybe we get more attention.
I feel like Michael Jackson. I love you too.
Well, I love you more.
We need to have some more love. Boy, I should have really opened up by greeting everyone in the greeting words of peace, because that's important too. All this, what's up, dog? No, what's up, peace, God. I pray for peace for you. So, I'm not coming to you from a side angle. We got to talk to the God in each other so we can do better.
All right. Well, thank you, sister, for joining us. Hey, listen, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back with loose ends. We got to tie some things up before we get the heck up out of here. Hey, family, this is the CSRN Video Minutes, our weekly podcast. We'll be right back.
Audio Jungle.
All right, we are back. I guess we still got the music on.
Got the music going.
All right.
Got the music
And we
going.
are
Yeah.
here. We are here. We got our brother Julian Mack, Golden Rule. And we're gonna go ahead and turn the
On the beat.
okay, we're just about to lose all credibility now. All right. If we had any cool points, we don't have any anymore.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw all my cool points out the way right now. I never know whether I should be looking at you when I talk, or if I should be looking at the camera, or if I should be looking at the microphone.
Well, either is good. I'm looking at the people. I'm in a conversation with you.
Okay.
I'm looking at them to let them know, he a fool. But then I start talking to you. So it's all good. And in the microphones that Jesse Coleman hooked us up with, we have, as long as we're, right here, they have a range that pick up really well. So as long as I'm right here, it doesn't matter if I'm looking at you or looking at our viewers. All right. Man, we're getting terrific sound. So if you could just move a little bit up close to the mic.
All right.
Hey, listen, family. We've got our CSRN spokesperson with us. We used to say spokesman, but we worked on that.
Yeah, that's
all
right. Keep it gender neutral, man.
We worked on that. We worked on that mess right there. Hey, listen, Julian. Man, I know that we follow almost everything that's going on, in the community, regardless if it's in our community or national. What are some of the top 3 things that you've been following that people really need to know?
Geez. Sometimes I just talk when I get inspired, and I'm inclined to kind of share something with you. But first, I just want to show off what I'm wearing for Black History Month. It's my James Baldwin sweater.
Okay.
I got it as a gift on a special day from a special person.
Okay.
Says, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced.
That's what's up.
Let me just say this. So recently, and this just happened today, I got the news that there's a woman in our community that was a victim of gun violence by her boyfriend.
Right.
All right. He was a well-known local rapper. All right. Well-known local rapper that spent a lot of time on the street that I lived on. That I had many interactions with. Right. I even came down there one day and kicked a freestyle with him.
Oh, okay.
Every now and then I got some bars. Not usually, but every now and then. And I guess let's say this, right? So initially when I moved into this neighborhood, right, there was a group of young Black men that would hang out, and it was almost like people would
people would stereotype them and call the police on them
Right.
way too quickly for really just gathering, you know, and it would bother me. And I would, deliberately kind of shield them from that.
Yeah.
Right. Which I think was the right thing to do. And we all make mistakes in our youth, but there are some things that are just completely wrong. Right. And I remember, let me say this, because sometimes I just want to highlight this, because sometimes people think all we do is stand behind podiums and then we don't have real life conversations. I spoke with this brother a couple times just about some of the work we're doing and what's going on, and engage, man.
Yeah.
Because one day he was like, "Man, how'd you get the police to leave like that?" Right? And this is real conversation, right?
Right.
I'm like, "Yo, I'm part of a movement." You know what I mean? And we really trying to make a better tomorrow today. And every time I'd see him, he'd say, "Oh, that's that stop the violence dude," kind of jokingly,
Yeah.
right? That's that stop the violence. I ain't with all that stop the violence mess, right? And it's wild though that, like, of all the things that we talked about, that was the message that got through. You know what I mean? Was
Yeah.
that
Stop the violence.
was that I was stop the violence guy,
Right.
right? And you know, this is probably going to be a person that spends the rest of their life in jail, and probably absolutely understandably so, right? There was violence, unnecessary violence that didn't need to happen today. And I can say hurt people, and healed people heal people. It's just something I say all the time. And I just think that it's important. I just want to say this. I tried.
Right.
I can look myself in the mirror today, you know what I mean? And not wonder, what if I would have spoke to that man? Could I have stopped something? Maybe I could have had a spark of positivity that could have changed things in a different way. You know what I mean? And I just challenge other folks to try.
Yeah.
Stop running from our brothers and sisters. Stop being scared of our brothers and sisters, especially our broken brothers and sisters. Maybe it'll help. Maybe a conversation can save a life. Maybe it won't. But there's a peace I have today knowing that I tried. You know what I mean? And maybe I tried and failed today. Maybe the community tried and failed. But we tried. And one thing we cannot afford to do is stop trying. That is contradictory to everything that is in our DNA.
That's right.
You know what I mean? When we're in this Black History Month, we learn about our ancestors and the resiliency of them, and that doesn't mean that, there wasn't intercommunal conflict. Right? This is not something that's new, but we have to continue to try to uplift each other and try to save each other and speak life and positivity into each other. And I had a rough couple of weeks when I wasn't here. Still sober. Oh, I celebrated a year.
All right.
By the way.
Congratulations. All right.
Yeah, it's been a year since my accident last year. And I'm happy.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to report that news. So let me say this though. I had a difficult time because I had some ups and downs in life, and I finally broke through and had something really positive happen.
Right.
And then I got some really bad news right after it. And I became frustrated, and I said to myself, why does joy seem to leave so quickly? Why is joy so elusive when, it's so important and pivotal to our lives? And and this is just something that had a small shift. I go to therapy, and I go to therapy several times a week. I'm going to try to wrap this up. I know, but I would just want to share this because I think it may help somebody. The problem was I was trying to reach for joy, and it kept getting out of my grasp. Instead of digging in for joy, joy is already inside of us. Peace is already inside of us, right? Like I just heard Sister Yvette refer to us as gods, right? There's another book that says God is love. Love is already inside of us, right?
That's right.
All the things that we need to thrive, not just survive, but to thrive. These valuable resources are in our DNA passed down from our ancestors. These gifts are in abundance in our spirit, in our soul, and in our body.
I say,
And I think just this past little struggle that I went through, it caused me to realize that I don't need to reach outward to find peace, love, and joy. I need to dig deeper within myself. What do I need to move within myself? Is it my ego? Is it my pride? What do I need to rearrange within me so that I can enjoy life?
Right.
Because the ups and downs of life will always happen. But there's some people who seem to still have peace, still have love, despite all that happens. How about that?
Despite.
Right.
Because it's gonna, and I'm glad you're saying that, because things are gonna happen,
right,
that are outside of our control.
Right.
All right. It's how we respond to those things is where the gold is.
Exactly.
Right? It's how you respond. And I'm glad that you're saying this.
And that's why I share that at a time like this, because people are hurting.
Right.
People are hurting due to the circumstances that we're in our community. You know what I mean? And I mean, I just want to make it clear that the healing is within, right? And the healing is within. And when we dig down deep within, we can become healed and heal others. I ain't talking about no spooky stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean?
We don't do that.
Right.
We don't do that here.
To, preach here.
All right.
I'm just telling you what works for me and what worked for me. And, even though I'm having my own difficult circumstances along with fellow people in the community, because I experienced this pain together, right? With all of you. You know what I mean? When our collective pain, and I have sharing our collective joy, right? But what is giving me the tools to be able to stay consistent, to be able to continue to show up, regardless of the ups and downs, is to find the peace within. As Lauryn Hill would say, how you gonna win if you ain't right within?
Okay.
All right. And with that, I just challenge the community, or all those who may hear my voice tonight, to just to look into what it takes for healing within ourselves, right? And I think that also comes from a little bit of knowledge of self, right? So that's it. That's it, Brother Washington.
All right.
You can play the music now.
All right. Okay.
You know what I mean? And I'm gonna just finish one more time. Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced.
All right. Thank you.
So that brings it full circle.
All right. Hey, listen, we're gonna take we're gonna come back with Jody for 5 minutes of heat. I think we done tied up all of our loose ends. So family, if you did we get something?
I got an announcement I gotta make. So tomorrow we got a tenants association, a tenants union, and the Beacon Place Tenant Council is having a monthly meeting at Kent Branch Library.
Okay.
Tomorrow at 6 p.m. And I'll actually be speaking there for about 15 minutes on local Toledo Black history. So if you don't have anything else to do, come out to Kent Branch Library tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
Let's see if I get off work early for that. Hey, family, if you love what you heard, if you love what you saw, you can help us via Cash App, hashtag CSRN 419, PayPal, CSRN 419. We really appreciate the community's support. Hey, we'll take a few minutes. We'll be right back. They didn't turn on our mics. All right, we are back. This is the CSRN Video Minutes, our weekly podcast, and we are yes, applause, yes, applause. Thank you. You're so kind. We are back. We're back. This is when we start to close out. All right, we're about to land the plane, Jody, and how we end our meetings is unique. I've never seen it done before because we thought of it. And this is called 5 minutes of heat. Instead of pounding a gavel and saying the meeting is adjourned, well, we end with soul. We end with creativity, creative expression, and we have a wordsmith, spoken word technician, specialist on deck. And you might, if you know Jody from only that thumbnail sketch of him being a spoken word artist, you might not know that he has more facets than Alexia Sims. All right. All right. And that sister has so many things going on. So does Jody. So, talking about 5 minutes of heat, Jody, what are we experiencing today? He's like, I'm trying to find it, Brother Washington. You can soft shoe for a little bit longer.
I'm putting myself in the mood because every year for the last 7 years, I do. Best way to explain my art is emotions and what is going on in the current times. I think it was Maya Angelou. No, it wasn't Maya Angelou. It's another poet. And I'm paraphrasing about your art being a storytelling of what you lived through. What? I just saw that interview the other day. I can't remember the name. I do entirely too much. But so if you go back through the consistency of my career, I do something for seasons, for holidays, for people, for a little bit of everything. I've won awards for haikus, for books, for stories, soon to be filmmaking and producing an album independently this year. So I had to do a Black Lives Matter, or not a Black Lives Matter piece, a Black History piece, because I've done those before. Probably out of maybe 4,000 to 5,000 pieces, because I've literally written a piece every single day since March 23rd, 2015. In the first 5 years, I was writing 3, 4 pieces. If you go back to the beginnings of our page, I'm your narrator. So I've done that for a couple dozen organizations. The voice you never hear.
Never looked at it that way. All right. Yeah. Either your voice or your thumb. All right.
My voice, my thumb, or my pen, or stickers now. They evolved to stickers because it took too long, even though it was a minute. I can't graffiti everywhere. It's costing a fortune in markers. So, back to this piece. Because up until about an hour ago, I did have a show planned, but the venue, something happened with that and everything. So today I was going to do a doubleheader.
Okay.
We are just going to do the piece on Black history. So again, I am preparing people because this is not a spoken truth piece or child of the system piece. This is a childhood traumas piece, which they have that title for a reason and all that disclaimer. So hopefully y'all out there is listening, and that didn't give you enough preview.
Yeah.
I'm
Enough
trying to
caution.
prepare people.
Okay. All right. You let us know.
So anyway, I am Black History. Let's begin. Peace. I am Black History. My ancestors sacrificed, bled, cried, pleaded, and prayed to their ancestors for me to live today. I am Black History. My ancestors were stripped of their history, taken from their land, and given another tongue to speak fluently in the language that propagates the rewriting of their history. I am Black History. Still, that wasn't enough. After the chains came off, ships broke down, and monetized for the worth of a drop of blood, we existed in limbo. My great-great-grandmother was a slave. My great-grandmother was a sharecropper. My grandmother had to live through the trauma of the civil rights era and Jim Crow rule. My mother had to live through the politics of gentrification, redistricting, the war on drugs, project precipitation, welfare for the broken generations of curses left by the well-fed to complain for their part in history and the separation of family due to court rule. I am Black History. You tell us to build with the scraps that you give us, the meager remnants of a country that we help build off the backs, blood, and sweat of people who were ripped from their families, torn from their homes, and told that you are savages that belong to us. You burn, bomb, and massacre any congregation of people that find hope within themselves. Tulsa, Galveston, Detroit, Black Wall Street, Dearborn, Black Panthers, SNCC, NAACP, BLM. I am Black History. My family tree looks like a tattered and torn tapestry of broken buds and dead limbs that still somehow flourish to bear fruit. You brainwash your children with falsified history, only highlighting the moments of accomplishments, editing out the struggles of my people, the success of my people, the strength of people, and the resilience of our blood, giving us symbolisms of heroes that you personally pick, consoling us with awarded inventors and creators who never got the recognition they deserve while they were alive. So it's just sit here and take this. I am Black History. I live today because my ancestors didn't quit. The strange fruit that you hung from those trees, bucks you tried to break, history you tried to erase, and women that you mercilessly raped, birthed me. The blood that they spilled runs through my veins. The cries out for freedom flow through my lungs. And their memories keep me standing strong with my head held up high, answering to no less than sir or king, because they fill me with pride. I am Black History, and you will never, no, never forget me. In peace.
All right, and as always, it's customary that we snap. Where's the camera? Where they put it? All right, we snap our fingers. Jody, thank you, brother.
Yep.
Thank you.
You had Dearborn in for you.
Yeah, okay, I appreciate it. Okay, all right, okay, all right. What? All right, I'm like, okay, we appreciate that. All right, we appreciate that. We
Some
appreciate
things people forget in time forget. I had a family
Thank you.
I used to live with that reminded me of that situation. That's still not on history books about the community that was started up there.
Yes, sir.
Everybody came and just tore everything apart. but it didn't get media attention because it
Nope.
was a Muslim community and not another one of the Black Power groups like that. So,
Right. But you know what? We thrive.
Yeah.
We hear in, and you know what? The universe ordains struggle. Struggle is ordained. The ability to push through adversity is how we value things.
Yep.
All right. And if you're a champion, then the universe or God or however you see him is going to send you a challenger. So if you're going through any type of adversity, then the universe must say, man,
some
brother-
stuff is about to happen.
yeah, so we need to prepare him or her for what's about to happen. So let us strengthen him or her through this trial, that they'll come out on the other side stronger than they were. So after peace comes difficulty, and after difficulty comes peace. We need both that positive and so-called negative. You can't start a car without a negative post.
True.
All right. So, hey, listen, family. All right. We got kind of deep and philosophical there. So you got everything tonight on our
we got
podcast.
our trifecta too. We got the Muslim, the Buddhist, and
Oh,
Julian.
Julian. Okay. Yeah.
So you got all the bar jokes in
You
here.
got all, absolutely. Absolutely. And we're going to end it right there before we get canceled. Thank you, Jody, for mentioning that. And as always, listen, all lives can't matter. Oh, no, we didn't do our solidarity pledge.
We just trying to rush past everything.
Yeah.
I think you got a little bit too much into the Black history.
I sure did. I'm like, hey, you want to say this? Just lean. If you can lean in, you can lean in. Either way, this is our solidarity pledge. This is like a contract that we make to ourselves. All right, you good? Oh, yeah. This is a contract that we make with ourselves in order to come back each and every day to strive to. Okay. Mm-hmm. Not have invited him. All right. Maybe next time the neighborhood.
I have so many jokes I could
use
the
neighborhood
in that statement, but I'm not.
We appreciate it because I think the jokes is my part. All right. That's what I do. Hey, listen.
That was the joke.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but I already made it in the bar joke about the Christian and the Buddhist and the Muslim and which one drops the staff. No, never mind. I'm shutting up.
All right.
Walker.
Yep, let's go ahead and get canceled on our. We end up canceling ourselves because nobody can cancel us really. Hey, listen, this is where we have our solidarity pledge. This is the contract that we make with ourselves. Julian, this is a call and response. You ready?
Yes, sir. I say your name.
Jody
Brother Washington.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To love my brothers and my sisters.
To love my brothers and my sisters.
As I love myself.
As I love myself.
I
say your name.
Jay
Brother
Summers.
Washington.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To study to improve myself.
To study to improve myself.
Spiritually. Physically. Mentally. And morally. For the benefit of myself.
For the benefit of myself.
My family.
My family.
And my people.
And my people.
I say your name.
Child of the system.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To be a part of the solution.
To be a part of the solution.
The process.
The process.
And not the problem.
And not the problem.
I say your name.
Brother
Spoken
Washington.
truth.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To give all that I can spare.
To give all that I can spare.
Of my time.
Of my time.
My strength.
My strength.
And energy. To achieve. The above said.
The above said.
Now give yourself the
That's
round of
right.
applause.
That's right. A black hand at that, man. Thank you, Julian. Thank you, Jody. And man, thank you, everybody that was in the chat today. And thank you for joining us. Movement does not stop. It keeps moving. It keeps moving. And it's awesome to be here. And as always, all lives can't matter until Black lives matter. And Black lives can't matter until all Black lives matter. Justice or else.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.
All right.